Happy Appy was a supposed children's show that aired in 1999, specifically on Nick Jr. The show was about teaching children friendship and how to be a kind person. However, someone was able to find a taped recording of these episodes, and what they found was quite the opposite.
I received your letter and came in here to help you. Certainly unfamiliar.
At first it seems normal and we can see Happy Appy teaching children how to be good. However, after a couple of episodes, it progressively gets worse and worse.
How did you get into my house? It's me. Happy.
A couple of months after Happy Appy aired its first episode, Nickelodeon ended up canceling the show, and it was never shown on Nick Jr. ever again, even the more appropriate episodes. However, Happy Appy wouldn't be lost forever because some parents were thankfully able to record the show. But the real question remains, is Happy Appy even real? Now, Happy Appy is not real. All of this was contrived from a creepypasta that arose around 2011. And even when this creepypasta first came out, people weren't really digging it, some people even claiming that this was one of the worst creepypastas ever made. A talking apple who becomes a serial killer, people just weren't feeling it. And for a long time, this creepypasta kind of just faded into the background, mostly forgotten. I mean, there were a few adaptations to recreate the episodes of Happy Appy, but they were mostly pretty bad and probably made in Photoshop.
That's alright. I'll sing you the math song, and you'll understand.
But on May 7th, 2023, a video was uploaded to YouTube that claimed to be a lost episode of Happy Appy. The infamous Happy Appy show that was rumored to be about a killer apple have finally been discovered. Well, part of it. But this is still a big discovery. This might confirm Happy Appy's existence. And within this tape, we finally get to see the true horror of Happy Appy.
Kindest thing you could think of, alright?
Alright, I am ready.
But before we get into it, my name is Wellman. Please do not forget to subscribe as well as liking the video and commenting brah as always, to get us boosted into the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, let's dive into this creepy tape. Within the tape, Appy introduces himself to the viewer and says that, as always, he's going to be spreading positivity and life lessons. All stuff that's pretty typical of kids programming, teaching kids how to be good people. And the whole jungle theme really reminds me of Zaboomafoo. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was airing back in like 1996. It was about two guys, Chris and Krat, who star in this preschool series, teaching children how to respect and care for animals. That show was really good. It stopped airing in like 2001 though, and when I watched it, it was already reruns of the show. Appy continues, saying he received a message from someone who isn't happy at all, and that we should all give them a visit to try and help them.
From someone who is saying that he wasn't feeling happy at all lately. Why is that, I wondered. Nevertheless, let's give him a visit and talk it all out. Hold my hands and come with me.
But when Appy arrives, instead of being thrilled that Appy came to visit this child, the child reacts in this really weird way. The child asks what he's doing here, and how did he get inside of the home.
Oh, hello there, my friend. I received your letter and came in here to help you. Certainly unfamiliar, aren't you? How did you get into my house?
Appy then tells the kid that he's here because he received the letter on how he's not happy, but the kid tells Appy he has no idea what he's talking about, but following by saying he's actually been sad and can't seem to get happy, and seeks Appy's advice regardless. Appy tells Danny that it seems he's been searching for a way to find fulfillment and joy in life, so Appy's suggestion is that the way to get happy again is by giving people gifts, and when he sees how happy the gifts make the person, he will in turn become happy again as well. Danny agrees, and Appy tells him that he's going to teleport him to a random homeless man to give him this gift.
Teleport you to a random homeless man, and I want you to give him this gift and tell him the kindest thing you could think of, alright? Alright, I am ready. Here you go, this is for you.
But when we see the gift that Danny gives the homeless man, it's a face. And looking at this video more closely, within the present is the face of the homeless man, because the man's face is blank when we first see him. So I am going out on a limb here. Happy might have cut off the face of this man and is now making Danny give it back to him.
Thank you. It really means a lot to me.
Danny and Appy are enjoying the sunset after completing their quote good deed. And this final scene is honestly pretty wholesome. Appy tells Danny that he goes here whenever he feels sad and watches the sunset and it makes him feel better. But there is something off here because when it switches angles, we can see that Appy is watching the sunset alone.
Whenever I feel sad, I go to watch the sunset, and it makes me happy. And I am happy you feel the same.
Either Appy killed Danny while they were watching the sunset, or Appy was just imagining Danny the entire time. But I feel like the most likely scenario here is that Appy killed Danny as they watched the sunset. This next one is called Cancelled Pingu Finale Ending. So Pingu was this animated series that aired back in 1986. The show was pretty strong. It went on for 6 seasons, with its finale being in 2006. And within that final episode is just another Pingu episode. In the series finale, Pingu creates giant footprints to make Pinga think that there is an abominable snowman. But there really is an abominable snowman following Pingu. And with this series airing for 20 years, it ends with no real conclusion. Which, I mean, sometimes things are left better off without your favorite cartoon character saying goodbye to you. That can be pretty heartbreaking. I mean, when Steve left Blue's Clues, that hit me like a truck. I mean, I know they said he was going off to college, but to me, it felt like he abandoned me. Because they never really mentioned him ever again, and that made me really sad. So within this tape, it claims to be an unaired series finale of Pingu. However, this episode was stopped from going on air because of how audience may have reacted. The episode was supposed to be called Pingu's Punishment. Now what we are about to see is just the ending to that episode because the rest of the footage was lost. And in the description of the video, it does detail what the rest of the video looked like. However, viewer discretion is advised because it does contain topics of self-damage and other morbid topics. The story for the final episode was that Pingu and his sister Pinga were playing on the trampoline and gets into an accident. Pinga plays as usual and teases Pingu. Pingu throws a ball and Pinga dodges the ball, but the ball hits a switch and it turns on a fan from the ceiling. The ceiling fan hits Pinga and Pinga bleeds and seems to not respond. Pingu unsurprisingly gets traumatized. The rest can't be remembered until the scene where Pingu seems like he's getting therapy. We're not exactly sure what happens, but it seems Pingu is here, banging on his head from the back till he eventually finishes his punishment. Seems too dark to be true despite some moments from the show, but there does seem to exist supposed ending footage nonetheless. And within this tape we can see Pingu lying in bed, thinking about his sister Pinga, and begins repeatedly banging his head on the headboard until he stops responding. Alright, so this last one is called Plankton Gets Served. Should have called it Plankton Gets Slayed. That's actually not funny, and you're going to see why. A majority of this episode is trimmed out due to copyright. However, what we do see is an alternate ending to the episode called One Course Meal. And this is the episode where Mr. Krabs discovers that Plankton is deeply afraid of whales, which prompts him to start disguising himself as his daughter Pearl and terrorizes Plankton. And it gets so bad that Plankton ends up laying down in the middle of the road and waits for a car to come. And that actually is in the original episode, which is honestly pretty bleak. But in the episode, Plankton does end up getting up out of the road after discovering that Mr. Krabs is just disguising himself as a whale. However, in this version of that episode, things play out very differently, because when the tape begins, Plankton lays down and a bus runs him over. Plankton wakes up in the afterlife, staring at his lifeless body beside him, along with other Plankton who have suffered the same fate. And if this couldn't get more disturbing, I mean, seeing Plankton get hit by a bus is pretty messed up. We are then shown what is left of Plankton after the bus drove by, and Mr. Krabs stumbles upon the grim sight. Neptune then telling Plankton the following from within the afterlife. All of these videos are from Vibing Leaf, so be sure to support them over there so we can get more of these. But yeah, that pretty much does it for today. I'm trying to upload more frequently, so thank you guys for staying tuned. It's super awesome. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment and to help out the channel. And yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's always super great. And yeah, see you later. Bye. Like this one about a mother and her son who finds themselves encountering a Vita Carnis. This series is extremely disturbing.